couple more. I want to ask the question here, and I want to ask. I'm going to post a poll on this one for the people too. Should beginner collectors stick to one line? And this could go, you could even remove the word beginner if you wanted to out of this question. Should collectors stick to one line? I kind of want to focus a little bit more on the beginner collector though, because for the beginners coming into this hot toy collecting and art, there's a lot of good options. There's a daunting experience to start with 1/6. Where do I start? There's so many good opportunities to get good things. There's so much temptation. Where do you really go from there? And we always hear people say sometimes like, stick to one line, stick to one line. That's tough for me. That's tough for me because there's a lot of things that we as collectors and fans like. And it's hard to be like, I'm going to only collect Star Wars. And then you see like something really cool from Marvel and you're like, fuck, I want that. And you're just like, you can't have it because you only have Star Wars, right? To each their own. Everyone collects how they see fit. But that's a tough one for me. So Zach, I want to ask you, should collectors, especially beginner ones, stick to one line? What do you think?
I don't want to sandbag this segment, but I feel like we as content creators shouldn't tell people how to collect.
Right.
I don't know, collect what you like. If it's 10 lines, if it's one line, I would say be financially responsible. You know, that's I mean, if you've seen my collection in the back or if you've seen Will's review of my collection, it's all over the place and I love it. Um yeah, I think like when I first got into the hobby, um it I don't want to say it felt very cliquish. That was probably like 2016, 2017.
Mm.
Um, I felt like there was a lot of pressure to like buy certain figures to fit in, right? Like there's the kind of like I was watching a retro gaming video and they're like, yeah, it's kind of like a rite of passage, like when you get a Game Boy Micro and you can kind of like be a part of the group of guys as the Game Boy Micro, and it just seemed very toxic. But yeah, like when I first got in, I was like, oh shit, like I got to get a DTOF and like put lights in it so I can have like the same display. This was back when I think we only had DTOFs and Billy bookcases. So, but no, I don't think that's particularly fun. I mean, unless you're the kind of person that just likes Star Wars, right? Then buy what you like. But no, I don't think that. I think if you do that, you miss out on a lot. And I think for most of the beginning of my collection journey, I was like, okay, I'm all Star Wars, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna collect Iron Man, so I'm gonna do all Iron Man because a lot of the collections that I had seen were like that, right? They were like one type of collection, and then I got into DC and I sold all my Marvel stuff, and so I eventually kind of broke out of that trend and just kind of started doing my own thing, and like I have statues, I have 3 3/4, I have Black Series, I have Marvel Legends, I have Hot Toys and third party in the same cabinet, I have miniatures. I collect a lot of different things, and it makes me happy, right? At the end of the day, I'm on stream for a few hours a week, and people see that collection, and when the cameras are off, like I have to be there and enjoy it. So, I don't think I would enjoy this collection as much if it was just one line or just one scale or one focus thing. So, no, I think beginners or experienced collectors collect what you want. Don't feel pressured. There's figures that I really enjoy that I think a lot of people don't. So, I would say don't let people tell you how to collect.
Yeah.
Personally.
That's reasonable, bro. Absolutely. Yeah. And, everyone's going to collect differently and how they want to do this. But yeah, I'm with you about sticking to one line. That I think would be tough for me. That would be, there's so many characters that I love. Like I wouldn't be able to get Nathan Drake if I only collected Marvel or Star Wars or whatever. So I think as long as you're collecting responsibly, then, hey, even if you're not, do what you want to do, but just it's not how I would do it. But, do what you think. Kiko, that said, what do you think? Should beginner collectors stick to one line? Because we hear this thrown around as a piece of advice every now and then.
You just said one of the greatest things is that when the camera goes off and you're not streaming, you still have to like this collection. That's a great point. And I do wonder how many people out there literally just buy stuff for clout or to post on Facebook.
Yeah,
but
exactly,
when they go home and they're just sitting there with their stuff, does it really bring them happiness? Like literally, why are you buying this? Is it just because you want to make a social media friend? That's the dangerous thing. So here's my question. Should beginners stick to one line? When you first see these great figures, these works of art, and you'd be like, okay, I want to start doing these things. Everyone always says, get one figure that's in stock to see if you like it first. And once you have one, you can decide if, okay, how much was this? Was this sufficient enough? Draco doesn't believe in that at all.
Draco doesn't care.
But you say, is this something I want to continue? But I don't think necessarily it should be a line. I really think it should be a number. You should say, okay, I'm only going to do 5 figures. And maybe it is like a tier, not the tier-based collecting, but maybe it is a tier system. Like, okay, let me get 5 figures and then I'll reevaluate, see if I still like this, what I want to do. Because when you got 5, you can unload them if you don't really like them. I think you really need to decide what that number is. If you're a beginning collector, what is your evaluation, your check-in point to say, okay, how am I doing in this? Am I being responsible? Am I getting things the right way? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Right.
Draco, what are we doing? But that's what I would ask, is that, you need to ask yourself, okay, how many do I have and what do I want to do next? And because if you can't answer that question of, do you still like this when no one's looking, then get out of this. Don't do that thing. This is something, I'm not saying, not trying to gatekeep by any means, but collecting is for collectors. If you should have had a reason to be this, like, hey, sends me back to this cinematic moment. This sends me back to my childhood. This is why I collect. And if you can't answer those questions, don't buy it, because you're wasting money and it's something that you're going to take a loss on eventually anyway, especially now if you're buying things that are technically in stock. So that's my word. Those were Drago's thinks. And I would say let's do a number before we do a line.
Well, that's why Nathan Drake is a Grail bro.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe you get that figure and like, this is my moment. This is my Grail piece to say, I'm a gamer, but I want something to represent my games. This is my definitive piece. There you go. Proud of you, Will.
Yeah. Well, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Guys, thanks for your thoughts on that one.